Listen to the roar of earth. Listen to it split easily like ripe mango skin. Listen as shack, president's chambers, market, school, church, home disintegrate. Listen as skulls crack, limbs are smashed, flesh is sliced. Listen to screams, dying gurgles in throats, voices calling out names, prayers, whispers, crying and hysterical laughter. Listen to song. And listen to the blanket of death stench, so immense that it roars too.
The earthquake in January 12 in Haiti was very, very devastating. More than 250,000 dead, mostly at the same moment, even if some of them died a little bit after, but at the same moment. And I myself was in a very strange situation when I was in a car in the road, in the street, and I received a phone call, and I park the car to answer the phone call when the earthquake, which is, I don't know, here they told me about Los Angeles here. If people know, earthquake is a very strange. You don't understand the situation because it's last long. We have earthquake before, but shake like that. But the important earthquake is you don't understand, and I saw the car who passed me when I was stopped to answer the phone, and a building upon the car. So I was there normally. And it's a really freaky situation when I stood up, and at the end of the first shake, to see the other car in the front is the building, and 20 or 30 meters more. Well, and the most freaky situation is that the phone call was to tell me that one of our friends, an activist in the university, professor, was just killed and assassinated. And the fact that they called me to tell me that Jean-Anil Louis Just, a good comrade, was killed right now, saved my life.
I volunteer with a couple different community organizations, and I was out going door to door, reaching out to people in public housing about a meeting that was coming up. And a friend of mine who was driving, basically showed me his phone, and he said he had a text. It was a text from somebody that we both knew saying that there was an earthquake that had struck Haiti. And I was like, whoever sent you this message must have been mistaken, because we don't have earthquakes in Haiti. We have got hurricanes and other natural and man-made disasters that have been happening over the past several decades. But an earthquake is just something that's kind of unheard of. So I wasn't sure, and then I got messages from other people, and then when I got back home, I started to follow some of the news, and what I saw on the news was pretty devastating. I have family in Haiti. I have an uncle who spends most of his time in Haiti, and at the time, I had an aunt who was visiting the country, an aunt and another uncle who were visiting the country. Most of my family actually lives here in the United States. I was born here in the United States, and most of my family lives here. But a good number of my family members travel back and forth whenever they get the opportunity. So I definitely had family who was there, who we were concerned about, and we were trying to catch up with and figure out how they were, what their situation was. You have had a number of different political disasters happen, and then sort of most recently this particular man-made disaster taking place, and not just taking place in an isolated part of the country, but in striking pretty close to the kind of political heart of the country, economic heart of the country, and there's about 8-9 million people in Haiti, and about several million live in Port-au-Prince, right near where the epicenter of the earthquake was. And to just imagine how many people were gonna not just die in the immediate moments of the earthquake, but their lives would be lost in the days to come. I was inspired and I was proud, because here was a situation where there was no fire department that was really coming to help people. There was no police. Police went home to look after their own families, right? And here you had a situation where people had to rely on each other, and in a number of instances survived because a neighbor came by and helped dig somebody else out of their home, or somebody organized water and brought it. So here was a situation where you had people who already had suffered this natural disaster were dealing with so many other issues in terms of poverty and what have you, and not the type of poverty that we understand in the U.S., but poverty which is another level of material deprivation, were doing whatever they could to look out for somebody else. When I went to Haiti in March, 2 months after the earthquake, one of the people that I got to spend some time with described the earthquake as a coup in some sense, in the literal sort of French definition of a strike against the state. That not only did you see the national palace of Haiti in ruins, but a number of the different government agencies that should have stepped in and played a role were themselves damaged. Right? You had officials in those departments who had lost family. They went home to see about their house or what have you, and the government, as we would understand it in the United States, right? The police, first responders are already like a part of the government that doesn't really exist in Haiti at this point in time, and we're not in a position, even for the few police officers that were there, we're not in a position to respond effectively. But we also have to put that in context of saying there was the coup that happened in Haiti in 2004 really undermined, following on the heels of a coup that happened, coups that have happened earlier, really undermined the capability of the state to respond to something along those lines. Because in the aftermath of that, people who were affiliated with the government, right, the government of Jean-Bertrand Aristide, were harassed. A number of them were killed, and so people who had been civil servants in a position and might have been in the position to bring their expertise to the table in terms of responding to what happened in 2010 were not on the scene.
We don't know from where 20,000 Marines of United States to occupy the whole country. And we ask why also, because in Japan or in Chile, 2 months later, there will be an earthquake of 8.2. The one in Haiti was 7.3. And unfortunately also, 2,000 people, more or less, died. In Haiti, 250,000 people died. Why a drama so important? And the whole Port-au-Prince, the capital, destroyed. And Léogâne and Tigouave and other cities completely destroyed. It's worse than war. I don't know, because it's completely destroyed. And we ask also why in Haiti there is an occupation of the MINUSTAH, of the UN occupation, something like 6 years of UN occupation. And why in Haiti there was a US occupation in 1915, which lasted 19 years. And why in Haiti, in 200 years of independence, there was 56 golpe de Estado, coup d'etat, where they throw a president, like in Honduras. Coup d'etat, okay. 56 coup d'etat in the history of Haiti.
So when the earthquake struck in January 2010, you had actually had UN peacekeeping forces in Haiti for about 6 years. These peacekeeping forces came to Haiti in February 2004 after the second coup against Jean-Bertrand Aristide, who had been president at the time. And these soldiers came in. It was sort of kind of what you think of generally when you think of UN soldiers, blue helmets and what have you. And it was made up of soldiers from different countries across the world: Brazil, Argentina, Jordan, Nepal, what have you. And if you look at the wording of the documents, the UN documents that gave a mandate to these soldiers, they were activated under Chapter 7 of the UN Charter, where it says that the Security Council can impose sort of UN peacekeeping forces in a country where that country is seen as a threat to, or destabilization of that country is seen as a threat to international peace and security, right? But really the role, if you look at it, the role that the UN has played in Haiti is less about maintaining order in Haiti so that the international community, right, that sort of the rest of the world doesn't spin into turmoil because Haiti's spinning into turmoil. But it's really, those forces have really served as a way to guarantee the interests of foreign countries and a foreign elite in Haiti. And they really work to guarantee U.S. interests in a significant way in Haiti. If you think about it, the UN has spent $5 billion on peacekeeping operations in Haiti prior to the earthquake happening. After the earthquake, there were even more peacekeeping forces that were brought into the country and that are still there at a higher level than they were prior to the earthquake. And already they've spent about $700, almost $800 million, right? People in Haiti, pretty much almost everybody except the sort of elite in Haiti, have been protesting in one fashion or another, demonstrating in one way or another for either these forces to leave the country or for a military operation to be transformed into some sort of development operation. Because particularly, there were a number of groups, there were a number of movements that were opposed to the UN's peacekeeping presence for nationalist reasons, for political reasons, prior to the earthquake. But in the wake of the earthquake, so many people were saying, look, why is the UN spending money on these soldiers here who are basically walking around with AK-47s as a means of maintaining order, than actually contributing to some sort of development process in the country, right? And that the presence of the UN has been almost universally opposed over the past year. But again, we saw last Friday, October 14th, the United Nations Security Council unanimously voted to renew the mandate of UN peacekeeping forces in Haiti. And if you look at it, the role of those forces, like I said, have not been so much to improve life on the ground for the average Haitian, but to really ensure that those who are already elite or already rich in the country, that they have their, that not only are they able to maintain their wealth and maintain their security, because if you actually look at it, we have these Occupy Wall Street protests that are happening in across the United States because what do we see? Chase Bank, Bank of America, they're not paying their taxes, right? Or they pay very minimal taxes compared to what the average American pays. In a way that's almost like what we see in Haiti, where the elite, the sort of largest corporations in Haiti, they don't pay taxes at all, right? There's no tax collection system. There's no income tax collection system analogous to what we have here in the United States, which is a process that allows the rich to become even richer. And what the sort of UN peacekeepers, the role that they played even prior to the earthquake was basically as a way to suppress any sort of social movement activity, popular mobilization, to see that a country that is starkly unequal, that policies are put in place that provides education for people, that provides health care for people, and most dramatically, there were a series of protests that happened in 2009 to see that the minimum wage in Haiti was increased from about $3 a day to $5 a day. And the UN forces backing up the police played a significant role in suppressing these protests, firing on crowds, first with rubber bullets and then with live ammunition. And that's something that's even continued today as people have protested for the UN to leave Haiti. Because a lot of people that you talk to on the ground, what they'll say is that the role of the UN there is not to improve life for Haitians, but is to keep Haiti a restavek nation. And restavek is basically a Haitian Creole term for somebody who's a servant, right? Somebody who is marginal and is taken advantage of, is exploited. And what most Haitians see is that what the UN is doing is helping the sweatshop industries or other corporations that are operating in Haiti continue to pay people $3 a day or less than $3 a day. And also what we've seen is an influx of foreign corporations that are prospecting for gold, that are prospecting for oil in Haiti, to make it possible for those corporations to operate with little to no interference from grassroots organizing, popular movements, social movements that would actually say, why is it that these institutions, these corporations are being allowed to come to our country and exploit us and take advantage of us?
We have Peasants Association. We had a very hard fight against Cointreau, the multinational of liqueurs, with peasants organizations. We have community organizations also in the neighborhoods. And the Reverend was saying that the unity of the community organization and the workers' organization is very important, and we know that. So we have also community organizations, neighborhood organizations. We have artisanos, art crafts organization, and we have also students organization in university and in public school. But why call the whole movement Bataille Ouvrier, workers' fight? It's because we are very aware in our practice and in our life of the fact that the chief, the leader of our enemy camp is the capitalist.
It's like a piecework system, right? Where you're paid not by the hours that you work, but the amount of garments that you assemble, right? And I mean, this is a sort of you meeting your quota for the day is kind of what, obviously, you meeting your quota for the day isn't set up in such a way where you can take as leisurely a time as you want, right? In terms of putting everything together. But part of what you're told by your boss is you have to assemble a certain amount of garments in a particular period of time for you to get paid today, right? Now, if you assemble more, that's great. You might get paid a bit more by each garment that you make, but you're under pressure to work to get a certain amount of work done within a short period of time. And if you don't do that, if your manager is not satisfied with how much work you complete, then they'll keep you after, right? And you actually have to not worry about attending to your family or just being done with work, but to meeting the sort of the demand that the managers put in front of you in terms of saying this is how much you have to get done for the day before you can be free.
We are very aware also of the international level of domination of capitalism and what the workers of all over the world are passing in that situation. That's why, with comrades of Brazil, of Latin America, but also with the Caribbean and other places, in the United States also, we are fighting, trying to build the international workers' organization, the global unionism, to fight for our rights.
A lot of the money that was pledged for people in Haiti, either some of those governments reneged on those pledges, and the more than $500 million that was raised for aid in Haiti, I think the Red Cross alone raised about $500 million. Little of it actually has made a tangible impact on the ground. I mean, I was amazed when I was there, and I saw that people were being given tarps, right? Like a piece of sort of plastic tarp that they themselves had to kind of like find some poles or some wooden stakes to make some sort of makeshift shelter. One of the more ironic things was to see tarps that weren't coming from the Red Cross but coming from USAID, which has a little USAID logo on it, and it says under the logo, "Gift of the American People." A lot of the money that's been raised for Haiti has gone into interesting programs, innovative programs. It might have paid people who were sort of translators or Haitian nurses or kind of drivers or what have you for a short period of time. But so much of that money has gone not into the local economy, but has gone into paying salaries for officials, has gone into buying supplies that were brought to the country from the United States or any other countries. And those same supplies were taken, back to the United States or wherever after the particular project was done. And I think not only do we see a situation where the money hasn't reached the ground and the money that was raised has not made a tangible impact, but what's even more shocking is the same people who might have gotten by, the same folks who survived the earthquake, right, and might have gotten by for a short period of time with a tent or a tarp and some food that was given out, are now in a situation where they're being told, look, you lost your home, you might have lost your family, all you might have right now are a few possessions and this sort of tent that you have or this tarp that you have somewhere here in the city of Port-au-Prince, but you have to go, right? This place that you're staying on is somebody else's land, and I don't know where you're going to go, but you have to leave.
Of the dead people, of the houses, of the pain of the people, of the camps, the treatment of the camps, of the NGO who came and throw the food on the ground, and the people hungry have to go to catch it from the ground, the humiliation of the situation of the people of the camp. And now the moment of the rain coming, rain season, and also that the bourgeoisie and the government and the imperialism together are trying to put the people away from what they call their space, their urban space, and put the people, the workers, in camps 20 kilometers or 30 kilometers away from the city. I don't know if you understand. You were living here and working there, and now they put you 30 kilometers in a camp. We bring our solidarity to the rank and file movement from the bottom to run our unions and to fix our objectives ourselves, but also we ask for the solidarity of everybody in that moment.
After the earthquake, the plan for Haiti was tourism and cheap labor. So it didn't really make a difference in terms of what was going to happen with rubble removal. It didn't make a difference in terms of the conditions that people were living in. As long as it was cheap labor and as long as Royal Caribbean or whoever could take advantage of the sort of private beach that they've been able to cordon off and take their take folks who go on cruises to Haiti to kind of just see and kind of enjoy, that it didn't really matter what was happening for the masses of the people in the country. I think Haiti is continues to be in a very interesting situation because it's in a moment where what we've seen happen in Egypt, in Tunisia, North Africa, and now really it feels like the rest of the world in terms of people rising up and saying that they will not take they will no longer kind of remain underfoot, right, and continue to suffer the same sort of indignities and deprivations that they've been made to suffer.
Roar, split, skulls, flesh, shack, market, home, gurgle, names, crying, screams, song, stench, death, roar, my ears bleed as I listen, my eyes burn and seep, salty tears, my limbs and skull hurt when I wake from dreaming, when I listen, when I dream.